Hey Flourish family, it is Jackie and Tad here. We have not been on for a while with everything going on, just with the clinic, the new space, all of that, but we wanted to take advantage of September being Healthy Aging Month to really help you guys better understand a huge hot topic that's out there right now and that we're seeing all the time in clinic. And so that is these peptides, these injectables, the semaglutide, tirzepatide, Ozempic face, Ozempic butt, all those things that you're hearing. So we wanted to take some time to explain to you, what are they? Why do they matter? Like, where do they come from? Where did this even come from? And then look at what are the right ways to use these things? What are the wrong ways to use these things? Because if you use them correctly, we see a ton of overall health benefits and long-term longevity. If they're used incorrectly, it's really, really bad. And so we wanted to spend a little time talking about that. And then finally, we'll spend a little bit of time talking about clinical outcomes, what we've seen in our own patients and ourselves with some of these different peptides and how they fit into just longevity and healthy aging overall. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what is a GLP?
Yep, so GLP stands for glucagon-like peptide 1, naturally occurring in the body, and semaglutide is going to be a chain of amino acids, and so this is a messenger molecule, and it helps bind to those natural receptors that we all have in our bodies. And when it does that, it's going to slow down digestion a little bit, or what's called delayed gastric emptying, and that helps us to feel full for longer. It can turn the food noise down, it can turn cravings down a little bit, which as adults is huge when we think about how we eat and the emotional relationship, especially in America with food. That is something, if we can turn that noise down, it gives us a nice tailwind for healthier eating habits. And then the other piece is going to be control of blood sugars. Semaglutide, which under trade names is going to be Ozempic or Wegovy, it was traditionally made as a diabetes medication because it helps with blood sugars. It helps our body manage that much more efficiently. But what they found in the trials is that people were consistently losing weight. And Jackie, will you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I think the really interesting thing, when I dive into these and research and learn more about these and explain them to patients is that, GLP is something that is naturally secreted from the L cells in our gut. So it's something that our body needs. It needs it to control emptying. It needs it to control those food cravings, the craving center in the brain. And so it's something that our body naturally has, and there again, it's released from the L cells in the gut. And this is key because what we see is there's so much gut dysbiosis in our world, especially America. Again, the standard American diet, the way our relationship around food is pretty dysfunctional a lot of times. And so this is directly impacting our gut health, causing inflammation, which then disrupts the way our body is able to produce and secrete GLP. The other piece that is so important with just America and our diets is that GLP deficiency, so when our L cells aren't able to secrete these appropriately, it causes more insulin resistance. Insulin resistance has a plethora of long-term health issues, PCOS, diabetes, obviously, cardiac disease, like so many things, and it's where so many different disease processes start. And so when we have that GLP deficiency, we have more insulin resistance, and then there's a domino effect from there, and things just keep going, getting out of control. So it can be a very, very overall health benefit if we're able to get these things back into the body at the correct levels. There's something else out there called tirzepatide. And so tell us a little bit more about that one.
Yeah, so tirzepatide is going to be a second generation similar to semaglutide, except that it has a secondary mechanism of action, or a dual action medication. And so it still works on those GLP-1 receptors just like semaglutide does. But it also has a glucose-dependent mechanism as well on the GIP system. And because it has that dual action, it does tend to be a little bit more effective than semaglutide. There have been a couple head-to-head studies that have shown that, but very similar in terms of how it works, not only on controlling hunger, controlling blood sugar, but also just overall improvement of cardiometabolic health when it is dosed correctly and when it's weaved into a healthy lifestyle, where we're thinking about other pieces. Things that we think about every day are going to be things like rest and stress management, and we'll get into those in later weeks as well. But You want to take us home?
Yeah, so I think the only thing I would add to that with the GIPs is one of the things that it really does is it helps bring that glucose into the muscles and for our body to use that as energy. Because if that's not happening when we're insulin resistant, it's getting stored in our fat. And insulin is a fat storage hormone. It's going to make you grow. It's going to make everything grow. And so that's one of the big ways that that added GIP can be super effective. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully it just kind of gave you a broader understanding of what these are and why they're important in our body, that they're naturally in our body. And then in our next video, we'll chat with you more about how to use them the correct way, how to use them in the wrong way, and kind of what we've seen around that, because we've seen a lot. So tune in for our next one, and feel free to shoot us a message if you have any questions or any comments or would like to know more. All right, have a good day.